Hello. So I just wanted to start this video by saying that I already recorded most of this video weeks ago, but I wanted to emphasize just how catastrophic what happened to me and what's happening to other people in the world of contact sports really is. You can see in this photo what happened to my skull. The past 18 months, like I can't even begin to tell you how much work I've put into changing this, pushing on my body, like I showed in my last video. And yeah, you can see how much it's hard to believe what that photo is showing. But when you understand that I've literally done it all day, every day for the past 18 months, it's not that crazy. Um, yeah, I wanted to show that photo initially, and I wanted to tell people the story of one man, Jeff Assel, who he was a British World Cup soccer player, and I'm sharing his story because he's a very typical sort of story for these old players. He died 20 years ago at the age of 60. They said it was from dementia. You can see how his forehead's been pushed way back from all the heading he's done. And when he had his brain taken out, the coroner actually diagnosed him with having CTE caused by heading. And that was 20 years ago to a British World Cup player being told he has CTE caused by heading. Here's another quick fact from one study that basically playing professional soccer will make you get ALS 20 years quicker. It's been 18 months since I made that video, and a lot's changed. Um, it's a really crazy story. Literally, like, my pace has picked up. I probably have done 10 times the amount of work in the last 18 months as compared to the first 18, and literally a miracle happened. I don't have to use my hands anymore. There's something that does it for me, and I can't even say it because it's so crazy that it would take its whole own video to prove to people that I'm not crazy. So I'm just not even gonna go there. Also, I got an inversion table to hang by my feet to stretch out your lower back. So that I've been doing that every day, and I've literally I've grown an inch or two in the past year from that and from the work I've been doing on my head and on my whole body. Like, my whole body has completely been reshapen, and I have a lot of photos that it's just so crazy that heading in soccer is even still allowed, and the fact that I was always taught it was a completely safe thing to do, and I'm still struggling to heal from it 6 years later. I passed every single concussion test, protocol test, and they're still teaching kids it's safe in high school. And I told this all to my osteopath, and he literally thought that that they had canceled it at the high school level, that they had banned heading, because according to him, he said it was proven that heading causes concussions. But even without that part, any osteopath, again, they're using their hands to gently push your skull back into place. So what the hell is a soccer ball going to do? It's absolutely absurd. I even got to call this one doctor. He's supposedly an expert. His name's Dr. Joe Field. I talked to him for half an hour. You can see the text that he sent me. Um, just again saying how absurd it is that it's not even in the world of mainstream osteopathy, it's still not accepted that heading the ball gives you concussions and deforms the shape of your skull. He's an expert and he totally disagrees, but in the mainstream they still haven't accepted it, and he was saying that's because of money. They want to sell you pills. Yeah, the more I've looked into it, the more you can see, as I'm watching soccer games, you can see these guys, their bodies are all crooked, their heads are down like that because they have the same exact thing happen to them from these impacts. They're getting all torqued, deformed, and they're bleeding internally and they don't have any idea what's happening to them. They're all getting traumatic brain injuries from heading and they have no idea what's happening to them. Just look at the goalkeeper of any team and look at how upright their bodies are and forward their heads are, and compare that with like the average defender. Look at the referee and compare it with the average player. You can see in all these photos that I'm showing you like what's really happening. And it's crazy because it's so much work to fix. I've spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours. The past 3 years, it's all I've done all day, working on my body. And like, to be fair, I am probably 3 or 4 times worse than the average soccer player who, played in high school, because I played so much and so hard. But still, and even Messi himself, the god of soccer, has the same exact pattern that I do. His forehead's way pushed back, his chin is sideways. If you watch him play in the game, you can kind of see how his shoulder's all stuck and he's all tilted one side. He's not completely agile like he would be. And Pele too, just, look at these photos of him. Look at him as a baby and look at him now. Look at how smashed down his head is. So he literally has a traumatic brain injury and doesn't know it from heading the ball. I even found some studies that really blew my mind. Like, a couple studies together basically say that playing soccer and football, like this is a generalization of what it was saying, is that you're about 5 times more likely to get ALS, dementia, and Alzheimer's if you're a professional soccer or football player, meaning American football. If you play either one of those, you're 5 times more likely than the general population to get ALS, Alzheimer's, or dementia. And like, even you can compare that to a war veteran with a history of concussions is only 2.3 times more likely to get ALS. Having now spent so much work healing myself, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that I'd be worse than a war veteran. With ALS, like, there's a whole lot of mystery around it. Like, there's all these guys from football and Lou Gehrig, and even Lou Gehrig himself literally had terrible head trauma. So, and these football players who have ALS, you can see how their bodies are twisted, torqued as well. Like Steve Gleason, you can see how his chin is crooked, just like mine used to be. So my point is, like, so many of these guys literally have the same exact issue as I did, and they just get labeled as ALS. Like, there's a good chance I was headed for a wheelchair if I wasn't saved by a literal miracle. Like, I'm not kidding. That's how bad I was. I was walking into walls, like that kind of thing. I felt like I was 90 years old at one point. I was in Maine shoveling snow, and there was a 90-year-old man swinging an axe, and I couldn't even do that. Even when I watched the Will Smith movie on concussions, at the very end of the movie, he shows how in 2015, finally all these old NFL players who had lawsuits were paid off. The deal was, we'll pay all you guys so that we don't have to disclose the research that we have about the safety of the sport of football. So what does that say? And, a similar thing has happened with soccer, although I found this article stating that recently the PFA, which is the British Professional Football Association soccer, who governs the Premier League, they're calling for urgent action here to reduce heading. So that's a pretty big admittance by them. Alright guys, that's it for now. If you want to help me do anything about this, please reach out to me however you can. And, especially all my old teammates, like, I am looking to help you guys however I can. So if you see this, I really want to get an organized effort going to get this recognized and to get people help. So please talk to me.